land reclamation defines Singapore. Singapore is defined by reclamation. First here at Boat Quay, and later on at Jurong, where reclaimed land houses the country's industry, and most recently at Marina Bay, the home for the ever-expanding new business district.
The two quays, Boat Quay and Clarke Quay, represent the original trading port of Singapore, the beginning of the modern Singapore story as we know it. However, they were not always as user-friendly as they are today. Let's meet a man who can tell us all about it, Dr. Julian Davison.
Jonathan, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Well, Jonathan, we tend to think of land reclamation as a phenomenon of the modern era, post-independence. But actually, it goes right back to the very beginning of Singapore and to Stamford Raffles himself.
Oh.
He was the guy who set it all in motion. The year is 1822. He comes back from his official posting in Bencoolen. He hasn't been here for 3 years, and nothing is as he wanted it to be. He left specific instructions in 1819 to Farquhar, the residents, of how the town should be laid out, and he particularly made the point that south of the river there should be a Chinatown. When he gets here, there's hardly anybody there.
And why aren't the Chinese there then when he came?
Well, there's a very good reason. It was a swamp. So Raffles, being Raffles, immediately he starts setting things in motion. Within a week, he sets up a land allotment committee, and he asks them to look into the feasibility of reclaiming the south bank of the river from the sea. And this was a huge area. It went all the way back to Pearl's Hill.
So all this was swamp, all the way to Pearl's Hill?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So how on earth do you fill in so much swamp? Where does all the soil come
Well,
from?
it was a very handy thing. There was a little hill,
Oh.
roughly in the vicinity of where Raffles Place is today.
Oh.
So, okay, Raffles and Farquhar, they were still on friendly terms in those days. They employed 300 coolies. There were Indians, Chinese, Malays. And there were some guys chunkling away, demolishing this hill, others breaking up the rocks, and a whole lot more carrying them in wicker baskets on their head. And they were paid a rupiah a day, and it took them about 2 or 3 months. And they filled in the south bank of the river, and this enabled the creation of Chinatown. And that's why we see in the plans, we see a Chulia village, Kampong, and we also see Chulia Street behind
Chulia
me.
Street, yes.
And there's another funny thing about Chulia Street. If you stand there and look towards Raffles Place, you can see that it goes uphill ever so slightly, and that is the legacy of that hill which was demolished by Raffles and bunged into the swamp behind Boat Quay.
That's Chulia Street, and
Yeah,
obviously
right.
something's happening now because we're
Yeah,
starting to...
you can feel we're taking
Wow.
off.
Wow!
So, when we get to here and we turn around and look towards the river, we're definitely at an elevation. It's downhill all the way, all of 10 feet, I imagine.
Yeah. So this, Raffles Place MRT, was once the hill.
Yeah, absolutely. And it would probably have been about 50 feet in height, and it was taken down by hand and dumped in the swamp.
There you go. That's something I didn't know about Singapore.